Morning, Bill.
Morning.
How are you this morning? How's,
Oh,
how's your shoulder?
better.
Oh, good. We didn't overdo it yesterday, huh?
No, it's typical. It's just when I do anything at all that I haven't done on a regular basis, I feel it. So
I, hard as you try to maintain condition at this age, there's no way that it's like it was 20 years ago.
right, right. And I know I'm supposed to stretch and stuff like that before I go outside, but I can't wrap my head around it.
Uh,
So I just want
make,
to open the door and go.
but take it from me, it really makes a difference.
Okay. I'll get there, I'm sure.
I, I literally would not be functioning as well as I am if I didn't do my stretches every morning.
Mm,
And some mornings it's, 10 minutes, and some mornings I do half an hour. But I at least do some every morning.
you have a particular bunch of them?
Yep. Yeah, well, I've I've developed a set
Mm,
over time. Some of it are ones that my chiropractor has given me, and
oh,
others are ones that I think do what I want them to do.
okay.
It's not something that anybody has particularly developed other than me.
Yeah, yeah.
Wandering through my
There's Bill. Morning.
good morning, Bill.
Morning.
And there's the Volunteer Peace Trust.
Oh, but where is she? And Adam is huddling with somebody this morning,
Yeah,
just to quote him.
yeah.
Uh, he'll be with us.
Morning, morning, Joanne.
Good morning,
Hi, Joanne.
everybody. Here we go. We'll be joined again. Who knows why it comes on all muted or whoever I am. Anyway, I did not try to figure out technology. Not my fortune.
uh, I
I
have
use it. Yeah.
I have had computer problems over the last week. I have no idea. Well, really, I shouldn't say computer problems. I've had printer problems.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes things just don't. Yeah, just don't work.
I know I've had one died, so I moved the second one up, and um, Andrew has worked on it 3 times and cannot get it to maintain its Wi-Fi connection.
Oh,
I can still print by, hooking up the cable, but
right.
anyway.
It's nice to have that Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Well, Jane likes to use that, so.
hmm
So,
So,
if I had my Ting Shaw here, apparently I'm not prepared. Well, the Ting Shaw's happy today. So, questions? How's twisting the legs?
it's coming. It's coming.
Good.
No, I mean, it's, I think, it was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I guess yeah. trying to really get from the feet up, do it all, but don't
Yes.
do the knees, yada, yada. Yeah, I mean, I just felt like I did get some practice in, and it continues to be an experiment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I'm in the
legs
same
take a
place.
while.
Uh, I had a good practice yesterday, and then I started thinking, how many things must I keep in mind when I do this? And 20 minutes later, having gotten up to 50 or 55 things.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And
But when it does come together, it feels good, and that's what was happening. Trouble is, it's not consistent, and I'm not sure what drives what.
Mm.
hmm, that's an interesting point, isn't it? We've talked about a number of different, as Bruce puts it, leaders of the band.
Yeah.
Um, so we know that it can be different things. And
Right.
some days one will work better than another. So part of
Yeah.
that, certainly at this stage, is being open to what works,
Yeah.
Mhm.
um, rather than saying, "Well, I have to have this one today."
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes it's something else. A different place is going to lead, as long as it isn't the hands.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
To let go of the hands. Let them. Ah. Do I have you muted?
Hello.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't. Okay, good. Hi, Adam. Welcome.
Morning.
Thank you. Sorry for being late.
It's okay. Um, Mr. Bynum, anything for you?
Yeah, well, I've been dealing with a head cold, so
Yeah,
Ah,
you sound it.
it's made my practice fairly superficial. So, but
okay.
because it's coughing and doing the form are kind of somewhat incompatible. But
Breaks the energy flow.
yeah,
Ah, the joys of grandchildren.
indeed.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Adam, did you have any time to work on twisting the legs?
Yeah, I did. I found it's still challenging, but definitely beneficial and seems to move a lot of energy.
Oh, good.
I think it's still been kind of how it was last week. Much easier twisting in than out. And it definitely just highlights a lot of like stiffness and tightness in the outside muscles of the leg, the outer thigh.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems to really connect with moving energy like through the quad and then up the spine, which has been very nice.
Good. That's great. So we're going to work today on um, twisting the legs in movement 5. Everybody seems to be having a little bit of trouble with movement 5. So I'm going to take you first into just a twisting exercise, and then we'll flow into doing it in movement 5. So I'm going to ask you to stand. If you can. If you're not up to standing today, then sit. step out and into your basic structure. Just take a moment to really feel the earth beneath your feet and your connection at the crown of your head through Bai Hui and up through the etheric body, connecting to the universe. Just checking all those places in between that you want to make sure are open. And extend your mind through your body. So the first thing here is to close the inside of your pelvis and have your hips roll upwards slightly. And this will condense your legs. And you want to make sure that you can have the distinct feeling that when you roll your pelvis upward, you can feel movement going from your feet up to your pelvis and your buttocks and your sacrum. And then when you let your pelvis go down very slightly toward your feet, you get a clear physical sensation going down your legs, through your thighs, calves, and feet into the earth. And just do that a few times, pulling the energy up the inside of your legs to the sacrum and pushing it down the outside of your legs into the etheric body below your feet. And this is practicing so that you have this together before you start. And now add twisting to this. Twisting from the inside of your legs towards the outside, and make the energy go from your feet up to your lower dantian. And then twist the opposite direction, going outward, and twist from your dantian down to the outside of your foot. So twist inward and pull energy up your legs. Twist outward and push the energy down your legs. As you're doing this, don't try and move energy in your arms. Just let your arms twist in the same way your legs are twisting. As your legs twist in, let your arms twist in. And as your legs twist out, your arms twist out. can do this letting your arms rotate if you want, or you can do it with your arms and hands still and just twisting the tissues of your body, which actually creates a stronger effect. Just remember that as you do movement 5, the twisting of your arms and your legs needs to be in direct coordination. So whenever you like, begin to flow into movement 5. And just a note, movement 5 actually is done 2 ways, one of which is a more preliminary method, which is what we're doing now. And the other one is how you do it after you can do the preliminary method well. So as you pull your hands up, when you're coming from the ground, the energy from your left and right channels going up the sides of your legs, the inside of your legs, and then you pull it up your central channel. And then as your hands separate and go down, you let the chi go down your left and right channels, and at the perineum you start pulling it up. How long it takes to actually pull it to the crown of your head and above, nobody can say. It's very personal. For some people it might be 10 or 100 repetitions, or others 1,000 or 10,000. Nobody can say. Some days you'll find that the most you can do, bringing the energy up the center, is to your chest. Excuse me. Another day it'll go to your throat, and then maybe it goes back down again. But you keep on bringing it up as best you can with the idea of the central channel and arriving at the crown of your head, and then separate down your left and right channels. And where you twist is not fixed exactly. you are completely open, you would twist until your hands were at the crown of your head or above it. But many people can't start there. They don't have that much twist in their system. And they can't coordinate the twisting of the arms with the moving of the energy. It can take a long time before you can do that. So you can't say exactly where you start twisting out. But when you have been twisting in and you're no longer bringing the chi up the central channel, that's when you start the twisting out. And that will change until eventually the ideal scenario is that you're twisting in until you reach the crown of your head, and then you're twisting out until you reach your feet. And from your feet, you're twisting in, coming up your legs and up your central channel. Bring it up. And then when you separate, going from the crown of your head down the flanks and side channels. Then when your hands start curving in, you try and pull the chi from your feet up your legs. You want to try to have it that when your hands cross in front of your dantian, you have brought the energy up at least to your perineum. And remember that the purpose is not to do a Qigong movement correctly. The purpose is to have the benefit of the Qigong movement accrue to you. So to start getting fussy about your hands are in one place when your chi is elsewhere actually doesn't make any sense. Try to feel your legs twisting with your arms. Out when you're extending, in when you bend. Remember to keep your pelvis tucked. And remember to continuously keep the energy from your feet connected all the way through your legs to your pelvis. And that tucking of the pelvis is helping to continuously actually raise the energy up your central channel. So next time your hands come down, just let them rest at your sides and relax. And sit down. So talk to me about what happened in that. What could you feel? What couldn't you feel? Could you get the twisting of the legs to be involved in that movement?
Yes, although occasionally occasionally it went. It came more than it went, but occasionally
Uh-huh.
it went. I think sometimes, part of this is, getting it in there so we don't have to keep thinking about it.
Right.
But that also, as I was checking on other things, like sometimes I feel like when my hands are at the top and I'm standing, I'm too straight and I lose a bit of the curve. So trying to adjust to that, then I lost a little bit of the leg twisting while I was paying attention to that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I felt like I was able to keep it together, as we say. Was able to feel it. I was able to feel all of the aspects of what you were talking about. Yeah, reminding us.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I kind of echo what Joanne was feeling. Before we started moving, I had a real good sense of the energy and the twisting. Once we started movement 5, I could still connect with twisting a little bit, but not as much of the twisting pumping the energy up from the feet to the perineum. It built on itself as we went, but it was easy to lose focus on that and get caught up in what the hands were doing. It was a nice reminder to kind of let go of that and stay focused on the energy feeling. So I think definitely a work in progress, especially doing like a lot of repetitions in a row like that. I could feel kind of like those outside muscles get tense and start to cramp up, which definitely cut the energy off for sure. It took kind of extra focus to say like, okay, no, just relax. Don't go so deep,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, the standing still part it was working. I wouldn't say it was working extremely well, but it was there. And with the movement, I think it really wasn't connecting. I was trying to do it, but I think I was, I don't think it was coming together at this point. But I have something to work on. So
Yeah. And I encourage you to use that standing exercise. It really is helpful, I think, because um, it does work, and you can begin to get a concrete feeling of what that feels like, and makes it a little bit easier to translate it into the movement of form.
Yeah, I think the standing also worked for me, and I focused on maintaining that through the movement, and I think I did pretty well. But what suffered was moving the energy through the arms with the upper body. So I felt energy moving up into the dantian. But it got diffused, from there on up. So
Yeah, it's being concretely aware of the central channel, I think, is a work in progress for all of us. Um, it is it's in the center of the body, and we work our way down to it. And I think having a clear awareness of that is takes time. You will feel the energy move through the spine more easily than through the central channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And both are good. It's not bad to feel it in the spine. That is very useful, and as that gets more deeply into the spine itself, that can be a very important element. But we also need to be able to have a separate awareness clearly of the central channel and moving the energy there, particularly in movements 5 and 6.
You know, I think that another lesson I have anyway is when you have something, recognizing you have it, you don't need to keep thinking about it. So for example, I think that in terms of our arms and where the twisting in and out changes is different between 2 and 5. And sometimes I question myself. I'm like, oh, are you doing 2 instead of 5? I know that I'm not doing it, you know, coming up, but where are we twisting in? And kind of just getting like too obsessed with that. I found myself doing that occasionally, but yet it's about the whole, not about just that one, right? So that if if everything else is kind of really working, then yes, that's where you're twisting in. So some of it's just, yep, you got this. You don't need to keep checking it. Pay attention to kind of the whole. And because if you don't have it, you're going to feel it somewhere else. You're not having to look at your hands.
Right.
You know, for that one, that's one example, not the only one, but
No, but the point is very good, because um, you will have blockages in the body, and they do cause you to have a moment's awareness that something is not right.
right.
And eventually, and it certainly doesn't have to be right now, but eventually being able to focus on dissolving those blockages while you're doing gods is obviously an important element of what you can do with this. So, other thoughts at the moment or questions? Okay. So, they have a phrase in Chinese which means the lower basin, and that's talking about the body from the dantian down to the feet. And the upper basin is from the solar plexus to the top of the head. And the way and they say that moving 1 unit of energy in the lower basin will circulate 10 times the chi that an arm movement or a movement in the upper basin will. But in the same regard, it is also a lot more difficult. The objective is eventually to get the energy moving up your legs as easily as it moves through your arms, and to have the softness of your legs become as soft as the muscles and tissues in your arms. So generally speaking, it's a lot harder to relax the legs and the feet than it is the arms and hands. So previously, of course, we worked on this C curve, and I could see you doing it. And you've learned more or less how to have the bending and stretching of the C curve cause your legs to bend and stretch. If you've been practicing since coming on board, you could do that. But now you have to have the bending and stretching of the C curve and the twisting of the legs work together in all the movements, not only movement 5, just as you would everywhere. So to go linearly with the arms, just like this, is a lot easier than having the arms twist as you are bending and extending them. It's particularly more difficult to get the C curve connected to the twisting of your legs than just having it be straight motion. In the spine in general, when you're doing the C curve, everyone is going to have certain parts of the spine that are going to either tighten or become overly loose. And what you're trying to do is to get an even flow through the entire spine when you're doing the C curve. Now, where this becomes tricky with twisting the legs is that if a part of your spine is not opening easily and evenly, that's going to end up sending signals to your legs, which are going to tell your legs to block or to not let the chi travel so easily through them. So you have to really pay attention to them. Pay attention when something happens in a vertebra along your spine. What or where is that causing some part of your leg to start having trouble twisting? Now, you've previously been shown some of the points that if you release them, they will help you to be able to twist the legs. But understand at this juncture, it's not about which ones do that easily. It's about which ones are stopping the energy inside your personal body. So, for instance, and I'm not going to change my camera. Hold on a moment. Just so you can see me a little bit better. So, thinking about movement too. I'm not going to do the arm movement here at the moment, just in order to not distract from what I would like you to see. So, as you are going into the movement and you're bending and twisting in, all of a sudden you feel something in your spine. Something isn't right there. At the same moment, you want to focus your attention to the twisting of your legs. And is there a place in your legs that is also not doing what you'd like it to do easily? There is some sort of blockage. And so at that point you want to try to dissolve that. And that can be repeated. That may happen more than once and in more than one place. So as you go through the movement, you want to really try to be aware of feeling any kind of blockage, particularly in the spine. And that will indicate to you that you need to also check the twisting of the legs. And it can be either stronger in the spine or stronger in the legs, but they will be connected. So you have to play around with these movements, and you never know how many of the 20 it can take to release that and allow the energy to move freely through. But until finally you want to find out how to get it to go through the legs and through the spine at the same time. You may find that when you're doing this, that it's worse in the spine or better in the legs, or better in the legs and worse in the spine. But what you're trying to do is to get that flow to where it's equal in the legs and in the spine. And that is how you will be releasing the blockage that's in your spine, and you'll be connecting your spine to your legs. So this is a really very big thing. Usually what will happen is that your quad can close and open, but in the place where you in the place when you get a blockage, something is going to make your quad freeze, maybe only for a second, maybe not even that much, but it's something that is not completely smooth. And very often, by focusing on the quad somewhere in there, you will find what is the connection between them. Usually that connection is going to involve relaxing and stretching your spinal cord and sending more energy through your spinal cord. Now, whenever you're doing this, when you bend, you're twisting in, and when you're extending, you're twisting out. And that's exactly the same that we've been doing all along in this program. When you twist in, you bend, and when you twist out, you straighten. So it stays just the same. So I'd like you to stand up and do a little bit more of movement 5 and really focus on connecting the C curve and the twisting. And then after you do that for a little bit, I'll suggest that you focus on seeing if you feel any kind of blockage or hesitation in the spine, in the C curve. Take a moment again and let yourself land. Let your breathing be smooth and slow. Making sure that you are using the C curve. Begin to flow into movement 5 and see if you can connect the C curve to the twisting of the legs. Now, See if you can be aware of any kind of hesitation or blockage in either the movement of the spine or the twisting of the legs. And if you do, look for the connection to the other. And see if releasing one will help release the other. All right, pause and relax. So is that coordination difficult or easy?
I think I tried making my C curve less extreme, which gave me better. It felt better. It felt like I was able to get some coordination there.
Yeah, it should not be extreme.
Yeah, I think I make it extreme to try to keep, when you're bringing your arms up, to not be bringing your arms up, to be lower in your center. Yeah,
Mhm.
but and I tend to make it more extreme to try to keep from, moving my arms up like it's, but,
So, um, connecting to the subtlety of the C curve and allowing it to be small but still continuous is tricky. Yes.
yeah.
Could you connect it to the twisting of your legs?
Yeah, well, I think I was thinking more about the twisting out and twisting in with the coordination with the C curve,
Mm-hmm. Good.
and that seemed to make the whole motion smaller.
Uh-huh.
And I,
Good.
I look forward to practicing it more and seeing if the energy feels more. We didn't do it for very long, so.
No, you didn't. Good. Anyone else?
I didn't have, I don't think I had too much trouble coordinating the C curve and the twisting. I did feel a little pulling, probably at lumbar 4, which is my favorite spot. Has been for decades. So, but I couldn't connect it up to anything in the legs. But what I did was slowed the movement way down and tried to dissolve in the spine. And that seemed to work. But again, I couldn't detect any connection between whatever minor was going on at around lumbar 4 with the legs.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe with practice.
I found something interesting. I mean, I feel this on class when you kind of make that suggestion or tell us to notice something that, it goes into my body, not just into my head. And so there was very much kind of a recognition of that connection. I think when we were practicing earlier today, I felt the coordination, but not necessarily a connection.
Mm.
So this time I felt more the energetic connection.
Good. Good.
Yeah, I felt like there was a good connection between the two, and you really could use one to work on problem areas for the other one.
Hmm.
Found in the beginning, I was having a tough time with the C spine and getting that to move the energy. But focusing on the twisting and that connection really helped kind of unlock that. And then as we went on, kind of the opposite, I felt um, the twisting wasn't really that full on one side versus the other, but then focusing on the C spine helped smooth that out too. So,
Cool.
definitely a good practice.
Yeah.
Good. Good. So, one other thought. Eventually, if you get into Taoist meditation, it's also a way that when you're finding a blockage, it's a way that you can go into it and find out what, at the level of meditation, is connected to the blockage. That also, there's also a whole series of meditation techniques in God's plane in the clouds when you get into the more advanced levels. So, any other questions or thoughts at the moment?
I guess one question, along the lines of that practice, is that something pretty specific to twisting in the C spine, or is that something you can do with other like Neigong elements, like kind of pick two elements and pair them together and then use one to smooth things out for the other?
Um, it's pretty specifically the spine.
Okay.
Um, Basically, you would, if you have blockages in other areas, you would use dissolving to work on that while you do the movement.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Good. Anything else? Well, good. Practice, practice, practice.
Oh, what a novel idea.
You said that before, David.
Right?
All right.
It does work. Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
David.
Thank you.
See you next
Good
week.
seeing you guys.
Yeah, see you guys. Yeah, have a good week, everybody. Hope you feel better, Bill.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
better, Bill.
Yeah, get well, Bill.
I gotta knock off here. They didn't take care of some stuff on the unit, so I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I
It's what
won't
it
say
is.
that then. Okay. Well, thanks for coming when you could.
Yeah, good to be here always. Good
Yeah.
seeing you.
Thanks.
All right. Bye,
Take
guys.
care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well,
So I just have a few things. I also have to get going soon. God, it's just an overwhelming time.
it is. There's too much going on.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot for work. I did a training for Yale students who are active for Palestine last Sunday. Well, that was great, but I spent 4 days helping to update all of the War Resisters League resources because we hadn't really done it very much since over the pandemic. So you have to check every link, of which there must have been 50 of them, and then make sure to fill in. Why isn't that there? So anyway, I mean, that's good work because I think it's stuff for other people to then pick up on. But yeah, it just time. But I did get some practice in this week. And I think particularly just going very slowly in the first paragraph, and then just kind of thinking about twisting. Was a bit challenging.
Indeed.
Indeed. It was easier to be clear. I mean, I am clear. I think about kind of the yin and yang balance. But I was not always clear about twisting in certain position, just in certain ones, right? So kind of, but you know, I'm also just trying to get some flow practice in every week to not, you know, to just get back to it and to get back and doing it slowly. No, last time I was like, I'm done. I must have forgotten something. You know, Adam's still going on. And I went back and I was like, no, I didn't forget anything. I just like, I rushed through it, you know, and so I think going slow, so I'm really feeling it and more aware is a piece of the
Yeah.
practice.
And if you have places where you really don't understand about the twisting, you might write them down and
I could do that. Yeah, I did not do that this
we
week, but
could
I
talk
can do
about it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it is confusing, and the some of it's very fast and some of it's very subtle, and
well, yes, that's right.
makes it more difficult. So,
Right.
well, have a good week.
Thank you, David. Thank you. You too. Have a good week.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, we will all do our best. And we're going to go right through the end of the year every Wednesday. Are you taking a break or how are we
We
doing
won't
this?
have class between Christmas and New Year's.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I I always take that week off.
Yeah, I thought so. I just need to get my own schedule. I tried to do that myself.
Yeah. You should.
I should. No, I always should. Although, you know, you send out a fund appeal right before Christmas, or people at the last minute remember they want to give a drunken rifle pin to somebody and you need to fill an order. But, you know, for the most part, keep it down to a few hours over the course of a week and
Yeah.
get other things done, you know, hanging
Right.
out or project you haven't done or longer practice or read. Read. Anyway. All right.
All right, great.
Very good. See you
Thanks,
next week.
Joanne.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.